Hey guys, welcome to training tip. It's supposed to be on Tuesday, but I went ahead and rescheduled it for today, streaming live into our community. And it's all about, since it's Valentine's month, is strengthening the bond with your dog. So the topic of today's conversation or chat is Love Unleashed, strengthening the bond with your dog this Valentine's. And I want to encourage you guys all to participate sometime this month, letting me know that it's been useful, that you watched this video. If you can see me live right now, streaming into the community, if you can hear me, if you type in the comments, hey, good morning, or hello, I will be able to see your comments. But this is going to be a quick trainer's tip. And let me go ahead and get started. I am Yo. I'm the owner of Canine Learning Academy, just in case. And I am streaming from my office. We are currently in construction with our facility. We've got, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if we're going to get ready to open on Monday or Tuesday, but it's getting really close. Meanwhile, we are running our daycare program and school right here in my house over here in Costa Mesa. So if you hear any dogs barking, don't mind them. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. Strengthening your bond with your dog this Valentine's. I love this time of the month. A lot of times, I have been really busy over the holidays, so I really haven't had a chance to work with my dogs. So my commitment for this whole month was to get my training sessions in with my dogs. So I've committed to about at least one training session a day. I got to the point where it was so chaotic over the holiday that I even didn't walk my dogs very much either. So I didn't have that one-on-one time with them that they very much need. And I can tell that I was losing a little bit of my relationship with mostly Bentley. Is he'd give me that like side eye, you're going to go do that thing again. So if you can relate in any way, if you're a trainer or if you're just busy, right, and you just don't get a chance to work with your own dog, let me know by commenting below. All right, let me put this up on the screen. Perfect. Okay. So the importance of building a strong bond with your dog is that you get to create a foundation of having a dog that's happy to be around you and just happy and content and feeling safe, as well as a dog that is more likely to listen to you. So if you're asking or requesting them to do something with a strong bond, they're going to go, yeah, sure, I'll listen to you. When a dog when there's been some damage in the relationship, there'll be a delay. Basically, you'll cue them to do something, and then there'll be this like long, I don't know, kind of thing. And it's not that they're being stubborn or anything like that. It's just there's a lack of maybe consistency on the training or just a lack of the relationship, right? You don't feel like it. Has anyone ever had a person that you're friends with and then you haven't talked to them in a while and you just kind of lose touch with them for whatever reason? You feel like you're maybe not important anymore to them. And then you get to the point where you see them call finally and you're just like, I won't take that call right now. I'm kind of busy. Whereas before, when the relationship was stronger, maybe you answered the phone right away or you text them right away. But as that relationship kind of, I don't want to say damages, but there's some, there's not as much motivation to be friends or whatever. You might decide to hold off on calling them right back right away for whatever reason. So with a strong relationship with your dog, it enhances the communication. So when you request your dog to do something, they're more likely to listen. There also is a matter of respect, right? They want to please you. So there's a respect going on both ways. You're going to be more compassionate and patient and understanding, and they're going to be more responsive because you're you're the person that's always there for them. It is crucial to understand or recognize when there is some damage in the relationship. So if you notice that your dog is perhaps not coming to you as quickly as they used to, or they're shying away from you when you're, sitting on the floor. Or if you notice that your dog doesn't sit next to you anymore. Or a big one that I see with some pet parents is just the lack of listening. So your dog takes a long time, or you've got to repeat yourself 2 or 3 times. If that's happening, I mean, it doesn't always mean that there's something going on with the relationship, but it definitely could be a reason why there's a lack of communication or a lack of response when you cue something. It also can be the environment. It's been raining and things like that. But I just want to give you an aha moment and just think about that. If you just notice, a little bit of distance between you and your dog, to just make note of it. And you might, take the month to build that relationship back up. So things that I've done that have damaged the relationship between myself and my own dogs is just lack of, I mean, there's probably a lot of things, but one of them is just lack of time with them. So I'm not spending as much time with them. I'm also sometimes anxious or stressed because I'm having to deal with the city or going with dealing with construction not going well. So my internal, body is, haywired, or just kind of the chemicals aren't right. I'm not a happy person all the time. So I may not be as pleasant to be around. So I noticed that there has been a little bit of distance. But when I go and start committing to working with my dogs, I notice a big difference on our relationship. The time between me asking them to do something and the time they do it is a lot. And even when I just walk through the door, they're coming up to me versus like, what is she going to do now, kind of thing. So just important to note. So let me go through let's go that way. There we go. Let me go through some of the things that you can notice, or that you might end up doing on accident that could hinder the relationship that you currently have with your dog. So one thing that can happen, and I've seen it happen with pet parents, and I, will ask them several questions to find out exactly, how it went down. But let's just say, for example, that your dog, tracks in mud on your white carpet, and it wasn't, they didn't mean to, but you get so upset that they've had, an accident or on your expensive rug, and you yell out a loud, angry reaction. Maybe it's not towards your dog. Maybe it's just, oh my God, look at my floor. Oh, and you just go into this like kind of temper tantrum for a second. Well, unfortunately, especially if it doesn't happen the moment that the dog is walking through there, what happens with dogs is they live in the moment of like right now. So when they see you or feel your anger or anxious, you're feeling anxious and stuff like that, the dog can end up taking that feeling that you're sending off and accidentally, feel like you're scary. So they're feeling scared or stressed by your reaction, which does end up hindering your relationship, the way that they look at you, the way that they feel about you, right? They're going to think about that moment in time right now when you're yelling. And even if, again, it's not towards them, if they're in the room, it does impact them in one way or another, that, something's not right. So most of the time they're not going to understand exactly what you're saying, but they understand feelings, and they understand the loud or overreaction that we might face, we might do. So just a mental note that that's some of the ways that you can damage. Another thing that might happen is if your dog, discovers, like, you walk in and your dog has your favorite slippers or your shoes or something like that, and you end up, pulling the slippers from them quickly. and they feel like super accomplished that they were able to grab your slippers. It smells like you, and they're smiling, but you walk in and you're upset because it's yours and they got to it. Again, that feeling of um, anger or upset or anxiety can cause your dog to shy away from you and think, oh my gosh, I don't know what it is about her, but every time she walks in the room, um, she becomes a little scary. Got someone coming in here. Let's see. Another one that I have heard from a client was the dog was super excited to grab something that they found on the sidewalk. And what they ended up doing is the pet parent went in and grabbed, the stick out of the dog's mouth. Well, the dog was so happy and excited about grabbing that stick. Taking it from the dog in a forceful way can actually teach your dog to be a lot more guardy the next time that you come around with your hands. So you just want to be mindful of what you're doing and how it impacts your dog and what they might be feeling or thinking at that moment that you do something like that. Let's see. And the last example I have here is kind of what I explained. What might be going on with me is that I do get, tunnel focused on one thing that I'm doing with work or with training or training another dog in front of my own dogs. And although we don't mean to ignore them, it's just natural for us to get, tunnel vision when we're working and stuff like that. But it can impact the way that your dogs feel about you. This neglecting, ignoring your dog, and while they attempt to engage with you, could help. It could weaken the relationship between you and your dog. So dogs crave our attention and they crave interaction with us as a primary caregiver. So it's important that they also feel loved and secure. So if we go long periods of time ignoring them, then that could do a little damage to the relationship. I'm not saying that you have to completely, acknowledge them all the time, but I'm just saying that it can be a reason why there can be a difference in your relationship. And just to make note of it and spend the rest of this month doing something that builds your relationship. That's all that I'm trying to say. So, building the bond strategies, I've got a bunch of really cool tips for you. So I'm going to go through them pretty quickly. But what I want you to think about is filling your bucket or their cup or their little glass jar. So every time you yell or you're anxious or stressed about something else, you're actually removing that love, that your relationship that you have for your dog. Or how they feel about it. So what we want you to do now is just for the rest of the month, try to fill that bucket up as much as possible. So here are a few strategies about building that relationship. So number one is positive reinforcement. And when we say positive reinforcement, we just mean adding something that is rewarding for your dog. Celebrate all of the good things that your dog does. Take a couple days and put all of your dog's meals in a bag, put it in your pocket. And anytime your dog is doing something that you love, whether it's going into a sit, a down, relaxing by your feet, not destroying your slippers, reward them with one of the part of their meal. Or coming by and when you notice your dog's doing something pleasant, giving them a high five, asking them to do a favorite trick, or break out in a game of hide and seek or tug, just encouraging that fun and rewarding them, with helps to build the language of love and trust between you and your dog. So definitely push the positive reinforcement button the rest of this month and see if you can encourage some reinforcement all throughout the day. Another one is just to spend quality time together, is to go out of your way to create a moment where it's just you and your dog. If you've got two dogs, spend a little bit of time with each of them separately so they feel like they're getting that love, just with you. And that's hard to do with multiple dog households. Um, and that's why I'll usually take turns in training, but even walking them, or in this case, I pulled this picture of this woman with her dog doing a picnic. And I was like, oh, this is a dream right here. Just sitting with your dog and chilling out and looking over nature. So dedicate some time this month, whether it's a play session, a walk, a training session, engaging activity where both of you guys enjoy. So something that both of you guys would like to do together. And if it's a game of fetch, if it's a nature hike, or if it's just a simple cuddle session, whatever your dog finds also reinforcing. Number 3 is just understanding body language. So, learning to read your dog's nonverbal cues. This allows you to be able to step in, and it's a great way to show respect with your dog and trust. It's when they're feeling discomfort or they're showing you all the signs of like, I'm not comfortable with this situation. The best thing you could do is say, hey, well, let's go over here. Let's get some space away from that thing that's scary for you. So that can really help fill the bucket back with your cup, fill your cup back with your dog, and have them looking at you as more of a person that's got their interest in mind. So when you're out on a walk, put your phone away and spend some time just getting to know your dog and reading their body language. Number 4, have just some consistent training. So like I've decided to do is dedicating a little bit of time every day to training each of my dogs separately. So use your training sessions. It doesn't have to be something that you're specifically working on. So I just like to do some tricks, which are fun, light. I have no really massive goal in mind. I just want to hand feed them basically. Just want to click and treat. I want to have some fun with their toys, focus on teaching a specific trick or just the tricks that they already know. Be very patient, use positive reinforcement training, high rate of reinforcement as well, so that they make it learning fun. Incorporate some toys, change the environment if you need to, but just some consistency. I'm talking 2-3 minutes a day, not a big deal. The other thing that I know I have had to do this month is come from a place of understanding and have more patience around problem behaviors because I've got dogs and people coming in and out of my home. It's not been easy for my oldest dog, Bentley. So having to, he'll bark every time someone walks by with the dog. I'm in a new house. We haven't had the chance to do the training. So my initial reaction is to be like, come on, knock it off. It doesn't sound like that. It sounds a lot worse than that, but you can imagine. But I do realize like I haven't done the training to help him understand that it's not a big deal. Someone's walking by. He feels like he's doing a job. He goes and barks at the window and then he looks at me. He's like, yeah, I did it, Mom. I got him, to go away. I have to internally change the way that I feel about a dog that's barking when someone's out the window. And it's not every time. It's just, it happens like when they park the van and they start to bring the dogs out. So use these moments of opportunities for gentle teaching. If your dog is having an issue, talk to them, cue them to do something differently rather than getting upset or especially punishment. And then interactive toys and games, and also just understanding the what your dog is bred to do. So creating an outlet for them. It's a really good way to show love. I like to do interactive toys and games also when I'm in the room. Like there's a multiple purposes for these things. So a lot of times if I'm trying to get a dog to be more comfortable with being in an environment or alone or in their safe space, I'm going to give them a toy and I'm going to put it over there. But if I want the dog to for example, I want my dogs to like, I want to build a stronger bond with them is I'll bring the toy out and I'll sit down next to them and I'll help them. So if it's a one that they've not done before, I'll hit it a couple times and then I'll go, and toss some food or something like that. So if you can create some games that you're involved in, even better. If they can see you give it to them, even better. It's another way to show your love with your dog. And the last one is just about the reliability of their routine and schedule. Is that dogs really work well with consistency when you're moving, or in my case, I've got chaos going back and forth. Again, coming from a place of understanding, if you can find a way to make things a little more routine, you're going to see that that consistency is really going to pay off with your dog. It makes them feel more secure, which also in turn makes them feel, I don't want to say more loved, but safe. They feel safe where they can, operate from a safe environment and from an internal, feeling safe, which is like their happy place, which is where they can learn a lot better. So those were 7 tips on how to build a strong bond. And lastly, I just want to say building an incredible relationship with your dog is a journey and understanding and patience. To have that unconditional love, really have to work at it. It's not something, I mean, for them, it's unconditional. I mean, it doesn't matter what we look like or what we're doing, they're going to love us. But when you notice there has been some damage in a relationship, just spend some effort, take some time, a couple minutes a day, and dedicate yourself to building that relationship back up. So that was my trainer's tip. Did it in 20 minutes. So I'm proud of myself. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you'd like me to discuss next month. Please, I'm encouraging you guys to go and do some stuff with your dog. And if you do, let me know by dropping it in the comments. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.